receivers.
Welcome to SuicideFantasyFootball.com. Jim whispering in my ear like I forgot what we were doing. We are doing the top 5 running backs in fantasy football this year. And Jim, I want to hear your top 5 first because I always steal your thunder.
You do. You always look at my stuff.
I ain't looking at your shit.
Number 1, Roddy White. I think that he's put up, really, really big numbers. Really, really, really.
I was going to say, how many reallys do you want to prove your point?
Really big numbers. Huge numbers. And I think Julio Jones is just going to help him out a little bit more. I think that there's never been somebody on the other side of the ball that was scared of him. Michael Jenkins.
I know.
He's okay.
He's okay.
But Julio Jones is going to scare people a little bit. And I think that they're going to – they were triple covering the guy. Everybody knew he was getting the ball, and he still was catching 8 balls, 9 balls a game, So now there's a little threat on the other side. I don't think that Julio Jones is going to have the big impact. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think his presence is going to make them not always put the safety over into too deep to him.
I agree.
think he's going to get a lot more catches this year. Number 2, of course, you got Andre Johnson. I think he's, it wouldn't surprise me if Andre Johnson was number 1. There's no, you can't say anything bad about the guy. He's a machine. With that game against the Redskins this past year where everybody knew the only thing that they could do was throw the ball to Andre Johnson, he caught 11 balls for 180 yards.
Yep.
Just jump balls. He's ridiculous. Crazy athlete. I think Schaub has come into his own. He's probably never going to be the number 2 or 3 quarterback in fantasy football, but he's always going to be that, 6, 7, 8 guy puts up big numbers.
Yeah.
Number 3, maybe comeback player of the year, coming back from horror last year, would be Larry Fitzgerald. I think he was Max Hall and Derek Anderson last year, and I think Kevin Cobb might not be a Pro Bowler, but he's definitely a much better quarterback than his other guys. I think he's going to, double Larry Fitzgerald's numbers from last year.
This is where you get crazy.
I'm just telling you. What did Larry Fitzgerald catch?
No. I love Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
I know your 5th guy is who makes me.
My fourth guy is Calvin Johnson.
I love Calvin
Megatron. He's a stud. If Stafford can stay healthy, Calvin Johnson could be number 2 or number 1. You never know. As long as he doesn't have Dan Orlovsky or whatever bum they got behind him this year throwing the ball to him, he could be ridiculous numbers. And
this
number
is
5,
where I can't look at you.
How can you say that about Greg Jennings?
Oh, Greg Jennings is your number 5. I'm sorry, I thought you had someone else.
No, he's a constant producer.
I love Greg Jennings.
He's playing for Aaron Rodgers. He always puts up numbers. The knock on him last year was he couldn't get in the end zone. He just had a lot of catches for a lot of yards, and last year got in the end zone. I think he's a constant producer. When you're looking for somebody in that 5 range, you want somebody who you know is going to put up numbers. Every week, head-to-head, 15, 17, 20 points. That's my top 5.
I don't disagree. I don't have him in my top 5, but I don't disagree with him being in yours. I thought you just said someone crazy on our radio show. That's why I was putting the old hand up like you were going to be ridiculous. So my number 1 is your number 2. It's Andre Johnson. Just because if you're gonna pick a receiver early in the first round with your first pick, it's got to be the guy who's a definite. Not that Roddy White isn't a definite if he's out there, but I could see Roddy White getting dinged up, so I'm going Andre Johnson number 1. Number 2, I'm still not going Roddy White. I'm going Megatron. If you would have a healthy Matt Stafford, which I think there's a chance you could have, and whoever they put out there just throws the hell out of the ball to Calvin Johnson. I love him. He's always an end zone target. He gets the long touchdowns. He's like the wide receiver dream. So I love Calvin Johnson. Really like Calvin Johnson.
Really love.
Number 3, I'm going Roddy White. I do think Atlanta's offense is going to be incredible. I think Julio Jones helps him, but big improvement over Michael Jenkins. I was just screwing around when I threw Michael Jenkins' name out there. But I think Tony Gonzalez takes a huge step back. Julio Jones is a little step forward. I think Roddy White's going to put up big numbers, but people that have him number 1 overall to me are smoking some funny shit. My number 4 wide receiver, I got Larry Fitz. I agree. Kevin Cobb is a huge improvement. Larry Fitzgerald wanted him, so the fact that he got his guy and a huge contract, which scares me a little bit, tells me that Larry Fitzgerald is going to be the Larry of old. So I think he's going to put up big numbers, definitely worth a top 5 receiver pick. And then number 5, I've got Hakeem Nicks. I know Jim doesn't like him. It's not because he's a Carolina dude, although Jim gives him no credit because Jim never gives anybody credit. Once he puts someone in a position that Hakeem Nick just catches lucky touchdowns, that's what he's going to say for the rest of his life. I've got him in my top 5. I don't disagree with Greg Jennings. He's definitely a number 1 wide receiver, and Aaron Rodgers is throwing him the ball, which is an improvement over Eli Manning, but he's the dude. Hakeem Nicks is going to put up huge numbers, and I have him number 5.
You're wrong, but it's cool.
We'll see. Who do you agree with? Tell us your opinion, Jim at SuicideFantasySports.com, on Facebook, Suicide Fantasy Football, Twitter, SFFcom, Blog Talk Radio, Wednesday nights, 7:30 to 8:30. And don't forget, you got 2 weeks left. Sign up for Suicide Fantasy Football. Play for free if you want to. We don't care. Get hooked. We'll give you a little bit of the crack for free.
First one's free. Everybody's doing it.
We know you're coming back by week 5 for the Second Chance League and trying to win a trip to the Super Bowl. So check us out, SuicideFantasyFootball.com. Signing out. Butts and